Have you heard that underwater sound in movies and games about ships and submarines? What is it? How does it work? Let's find out. These homemade models of a German Type 7 U-boat and a British T-class destroyer will help us. This sound is emitted by a special active submarine search device called ASDIC, which was invented before World War II. But how did they even search for submarines back then? When submarines first appeared at sea and before World War I, they were practically invulnerable. Submariners only had to dive underwater. There were no search devices back then. Later, two submarine search devices were developed, the hydrophone and ASDIC. The hydrophone was simple. It was an underwater receiver that picked up sounds underwater and transmitted them via wires to the operator's headphones on the ship. Underwater, all sounds are stronger, travel farther and faster than in the air, so the hydrophone could detect even the quietest sounds, such as the sound of a submarine's electric motor. By rotating the receiver, the operator could determine the submarine's direction. But what if the submarine stopped its engines and became silent underwater? A hydrophone is powerless here, as it is a passive search device. In this case, the ASDIC can help. This device was invented in France in the 1930s and used in the Royal Navy. It is an active device. Using a powerful electrodiaphragm, the ASDIC creates a sound signal that travels quickly and far underwater. The sound is very similar to that used by whales for long-distance communication. The signal is transmitted in a specific direction by the operator. Then, if the sound wave hits the hull of a hidden submarine, it will reflect off its hull and travel back to the ship. An underwater signal receiver is installed next to the device's membrane, which picks up the reflected signal. The operator divides the distance traveled by the sound signal by 2, since the signal traveled back and forth. Then, knowing the speed of the underwater sound wave, they use a formula to calculate the distance and direction to the target. The power of mathematics and physics. So, the submarine is detected, the hunt begins. The destroyer then drops depth charges at various depths at the location indicated by the ASDIC operator. As a rule, the submarine doesn't have time to escape. But these devices also had blind spots. A submarine might have a chance to escape if it dived to a critical depth, or if the destroyer started its engines to maneuver, in which case the sound of the diesel engines and propellers would be drowned out by the devices. A storm could also interfere. At the end of World War II, the Germans tried coating submarines with a special rubber coating to absorb ASDIC signals, called the Embellished system, but it had no impact on the course of the war. The US Navy had its own equivalent of this active submarine detection device, called sonar. After World War II, these devices continued to be improved and used by the navies of all naval powers. What do you think about this? Perhaps you know a little more? Share your thoughts in the comments. The channel has a full video reenacting the destroyer search for the submarine and its sinking with depth charges. The link is on the screen or in the first pinned comment. See you soon, guys!